Assalamu alaikum once again on the same day in the same dress. We just recorded the previous video about the types of noun, and this video is about the types of pronoun. Again, I want to ensure you that if you learn all parts of speech correctly and all types of parts of speech, noun and its types, pronoun and its types, adjective and its types, your English will become very, very strong, more fluent, more correct, and more academic, okay? So now if you know all types of pronouns, you can use them correctly in your sentences. And that makes your English more academic and more professional and stronger, okay? So that's why you need to focus on parts of speech. I've said this many times before. I want to repeat it once again. When it comes to English grammar, everywhere in the world, they only teach you these 5 or 6 specific points. Parts of speech, English tenses, active and passive voice, direct and indirect speech, clauses, gerund and infinitive. Altogether, these are the most important grammatical points. But these points are divided into different levels: basic, intermediate, and advanced, right? And it takes, a year for English learners to cover all of these points, okay? And learning these points give you the ability to speak English correctly, to become fluent. Of course, you need a lot of practice after you learn these points in order to become more fluent in English. And, to write English compositions correctly and speak English correctly, and when you read something so that you can understand. Because if you do not know the function of each and every word in a language, you cannot improve any skills that are related to the language, whether it's reading or writing or speaking or listening, okay? So I encourage you to focus on these grammatical points. So in general, again, we have 2 types of pronouns. How many types of pronouns? 2 types of pronouns. Indefinite pronouns and personal pronouns. It's very important to know indefinite pronouns and personal pronouns. Look. See, you need a subject in your sentence, right? You need an object in your sentence, right? You need, for example, something, possessive, pronouns in order to talk about the position of something, right? You need reflexive pronouns to talk about something or to talk about a situation when the doer and the receiver of the action is the same person, okay? So without knowing these points, obviously, your English cannot be strong. Understood? You want to make your English stronger, you got to focus on these grammatical points. So what is an indefinite pronoun? An indefinite pronoun refers to an unspecific person, place, or thing. For example, if I tell you that I went somewhere yesterday, do you know where I went? You don't know. So why? Because I'm talking about an unspecific place. If I tell you that I met somebody yesterday, do you know whom I met? You don't know. Why? Because I'm talking about an unspecific person. If I tell you that I bought something yesterday, do you know what I bought? You don't. Why? Because I talk about an unspecific thing. So, somebody, someone, everyone, no one, there are like 4 types of indefinite pronouns. With some, with any, with every, with no. Okay? Like you say someone, you say anyone, you say everyone, you say no one. And then you say something, you say everything, you say anything, you say nothing. You say somewhere, you say everywhere, you say anywhere, and you say nowhere. Okay? So these are indefinite pronouns. Of course, they are used in different tenses, there are some rules to be followed, but inshallah, the complete lesson of just these indefinite pronouns is coming in this book. And there, we're going to be working on their usages, like in which kind of sentences we can use, this type of indefinite pronouns, and in which kind of sentence we can use this type of indefinite pronouns. Inshallah, we will be covering, this point in the future, okay? So for now, I just wanted to tell you this, that in general, we have indefinite pronouns and we have personal pronouns, okay? And also these words can be also used as pronouns sometimes if they are not followed by nouns in sentences. If they are followed by nouns, then they function as adjectives. Okay, now look here. Personal pronouns. First of all, I want to tell you this. All of these personal pronouns are categorized into 3 groups. Into how many groups? 3 groups. First person, I, we. So this is what we call first person. I'm talking to you, I'm first person. You are the second person. And if we are talking about something else or someone else, that is third person. So I, we, I, singular, we, plural, but first person. You, yes, second person. You, we use you for both, singular and plural. You as an individual, as one person. And you, as a group of students, okay, you. And then this is the second person. And then we have third person. Third person, he, she, it, they. So he is used for third person male singular. She is used for third person female singular. It is used for third person thing. Not a person, not humans, right? But there are other exceptional cases. I don't want to go into too much details now. And then we have they, plural. So first person, second person, and third person. So now we have these cases: subjective case, possessive case, and reflexive case. We have subject pronouns, we have object pronouns, we have possessive pronouns, and we have reflexive pronouns. So subject pronouns, how do they function in sentences? When they are used in sentences, they function as subjects in our sentences. Okay? So what is a pronoun? To give you a very simple and easy definition of pronoun, it is a word which is used instead of a noun. It is a word which is used in order to avoid the repetition of noun. Because in a language, it doesn't sound good to mention someone's name over again and again and again and again, okay? So once you mention someone's name in the first sentence, and now you need to talk about the same person in your second sentence, okay? So instead of the noun, you use a pronoun, okay? So for example, I say Jamal is a good person, Jamal learns English at Atharut, Jamal goes to his class. It doesn't sound good, right? In the first sentence, I say Jamal is a good boy, he learns English at Atharut, okay? He goes to his class every day punctually, okay? So, subject. And keep in mind to tell you this, these pronouns usually come before verbs in your sentences. He goes to school, see? He and then verb goes, right? He went to school, okay? She wants to improve her English. So they usually come before your main verbs in sentences. They function as subjects in your sentence. They are used instead of, subjects. Your subject is a person, okay? For example, so instead of that person, you mention the name of that person, Ahmad, Shahla, Laila, okay? And in the following sentences, you use the pronouns instead of those nouns. So now we have object pronouns. Keep in mind, in a very, very simple way, they function as objects in our sentences. They come after main verbs. For example, you say, he saw me. He saw me. You see that? Look, if I write the sentence over here, he saw me. Okay? So he comes before verb. Now sa is your verb, the second form of see, right? Okay? So he comes before your verb, and me comes after your verb. So it is a subject pronoun, it functions as the subject of this verb. And it is an object pronoun, and it functions as the object of this verb. So do not forget, all of your subject pronouns in your sentences come before verb form, and your object pronouns come after verb form. Understood? Then you have possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns. They show the possession of something or the relationship. Okay? So the relation, for example, between two people. Okay? For example, usually, possession. For example, I said, this is my cell phone. This is my cell phone. So my here is a possessive adjective. That's why I didn't bring it over here, because it's not a pronoun, right? So it's my cell phone. The cell phone is mine, or it is mine. It is mine. It is his. It is hers. It is yours. It is ours. You see that? Okay. So now, what is the responsibility? What is the job of this possessive pronoun? It shows the ownership between me and the cell phone. Okay. It is mine. So there's the relationship of ownership, right? Okay. And if, for example, relationship is also possible sometimes. Just to give you a simple example, you said that person, that guy is my friend, and I'm telling you, no, he's mine. He's not yours. See, he's mine. So what do I mean by mine? It means he is my friend, okay? He's not your friend. So instead of he's my friend, I say he's mine, okay? Like it's very common, among, yeah, they say she's mine or he's mine. She says he's mine, right? Okay? So it's kind of ownership, relationship, not ownership. If you say she is mine, you don't own her, right? It is a relationship. Or if she says that he's mine, so there's no ownership, right? There's relationship. So sometimes relationship, but most of the times ownership, right? It's mine, it's yours, it's his, it's hers, right? So now they come before main verb or after main verb. Let me give you an example to further clarify this quickly, okay? So I'm going to write the example over here. For example, mine is good. So it's obvious that we talk about something. For example, you have a cell phone, I have a cell phone. You say my cell phone is good, and I'm telling you that mine is good. Okay, so mine is good, something. It refers to something. If, we have already mentioned the name of cell phone, okay, so it's a pronoun. I told you before that pronoun is a word which is used instead of a noun, right? So instead of cell phone, I'm saying, mine is good. So it means my cell phone is good, right? Mine is good. So it comes before, verb over here. But they can also be brought after main verbs in sentences. They're not like, subject pronouns, which cannot be brought after, verbs. They can be only brought before verbs and object pronouns afterwards. But possessive pronouns could be brought before and after a verb. For example, now, do you like mine? So now the point is that I have a cell phone, okay? And he has a cell phone. Now I'm asking you, do you like mine or his? So it's obvious that we talk about cell phone. You got it? Do you like mine? So now here, mine comes after your verb. Don't forget that possessive pronouns could be used before nouns, they could be used after nouns. They can function as subjects in your sentences, and they can function as objects in your sentences. And the same thing over here. Indefinite pronouns can also function both as subjects or as objects in your sentences. It's very important to know. For example, you can say somebody hurt me. Somebody slapped him, right? As a subject. Or you can say he slapped somebody as an object. You got the point? Okay. And this is also clear, right? So the possessive pronouns can function both as subjects, like in this sentence, and as objects, like in this sentence. So then you have reflexive pronouns. We have a complete lesson about reflexive pronouns that you can find on Practical English Brand on the channel. There's just complete lesson about reflexive pronouns. But here, I want to just give you a few simple examples to explain reflexive pronouns. When we use reflexive pronouns, it means the subject and the object of the sentence is the same person or thing. Okay? For example, you say, I heard myself. I heard myself. Okay, who's the doer of that action? I. Who's the receiver of that action? Okay, myself. So I did the action and I received the action. Okay, he saw himself in the mirror. He saw himself in the mirror. Who's the doer of that action? Seeing? He. Who's the receiver of that action? He's the receiver of the action, right? Okay, for example, that kid washed himself. That kid, that little boy, washed himself in the bathroom. So washing is an action, right? So who's the doer of that action? That kid, right? And who's the receiver of that action? The same person. When the same person is the doer and the receiver of an action, we use reflexive pronouns. When the subject and the object of a sentence is the same person, we use reflexive pronouns. So now, I was telling you, again, reflexive pronouns can also function both as subjects or as objects in your sentences. Okay? For example, you can say, usually they function as objects, okay? There are some exceptional cases, but usually they function as objects. For example, you say, I heard myself. I heard myself. But myself heard, no, they do not function as subjects. They usually function as objects. But these indefinite pronouns, they can function both as subjects or as objects in your sentences. For example, he slapped somebody. How does it function here? What do you think in this sentence? How does it function? As object. He slapped somebody. The subject is he, right? And the verb is slap, okay? And somebody is object. So all of these indefinite pronouns can function as objects in our sentences, but they can also function as subjects in our sentences. For example, so now we want to say it the other way around. Somebody slapped him. Now look, how does the word somebody function here? How does it function here? A subject, right? So subject, slap, right? Okay, so the doer of action here, the receiver of action here. So these indefinite pronouns can function both as subjects or as objects in our sentences. I hope it's clear, right? Okay? You can say, for example, you can say, I hit somebody. So I, subject, hit, verb, somebody, object. Somebody hit me. Somebody hit me. Somebody, subject, hit, verb, me, object. So indefinite pronouns can function as subjects and they can function as objects. It's important to know. It's very important. Okay? Now, what about these? What about these? They also have double functions. They can be used as subjects and they can be used as objects. Okay? This, for example, I point to something, I say, this works properly. This subject works. Main verb, properly complement, right? This works. I want this. I want that. I, subject, want verb, this, that, object. So they can also function as subjects or as objects in our sentences. I hope this much explanation is enough. Okay? And if you have any questions, I don't want to make the video very long because then it becomes boring. But you can ask your questions after we're done with the recording. And to the audience, to the fans, on YouTube channel. If you've got any questions regarding today's topic, please, write your questions in the comment section, and I'll be trying my best to answer your questions. Have a great time. Bye-bye.